Good evening, Toon Army. How are we on this Sunday evening? I hope everybody's feeling good and pleasant after, what was a stroll in the park for Newcastle United yesterday, wasn't it? Let's be honest. A nice stroll for us and 3 points picked up and everybody's happy. Everybody's loving it. And, long may that continue when we take on Everton on Thursday night. But welcome to the match review for Newcastle 1, Manchester United 0. And of course, if you do enjoy tonight's show, hit that thumbs up button for us. And if you're new and you like what you see, come and be part of this incredible community by hitting that subscribe button. It is free to do so. And also the notification bell so you don't miss any live shows or any uploads. You can become a Toon Review member if you do so wish by hitting the join button underneath the three of us. Some great prizes coming up at the start of next week for our members. And of course, you can donate to the channel as usual by hitting the $ at the bottom of the live comments. And that will guarantee your comment be read out straight away. Now, Alex does have a rant. So we will come on to that in just a moment. But we have to talk about the FA Cup draw. Hang on, you aren't in the right positions here. And
there's a lot of people OCD in the chat as well.
Yeah. It's Sunderland away. Billy, what's your thoughts when that came out?
Meh, really. I've got to be honest. I mean, the FA Cup's a great leveller. We saw it last year at Sheffield Wednesday. We're going there with an injury-ravaged squad. Sunderland will be keen to kick us. We'll beat them, but there could be kind of casualties amongst it, which we don't really want. So, 99 times out of 100 we'll beat them, but there's always that chance of the one time it happening. So I don't think it's a great draw, if I'm perfectly honest now.
Alex?
I mean, Billy's comments are completely correct, but at the same time, we haven't had a great record against them, and we've not had a chance to put that straight because they got relegated consecutively through the leagues. And this is an opportunity to put that right because it's the straw that they clutch on, and this is a chance for us to put that to bed. Although it depends if they can get time off from the Nissan factory, we'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? They've got to get time off work to try and. We'll fill our away allocation, no problem at all. But of course, they have to get time off at Nissan. About maybe 20,000 employees putting in for a day off. Les Walker, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for signing up, and thank you for your continued support on the channel. I love the draw, to be honest, but that is because half of my family is Sunderland, of course, on my mum's side, and I can't wait to absolutely stuff the living crap out of them. Listen, I know it's the FA Cup, and I realise what Billy said, but listen, we are playing wonderfully well at the minute. It doesn't matter what team we put out. This is very much different to any Newcastle United side that Sunderland have played over the last decade or whatever it is. We are at the top of our game, and I think Eddie will have the boys fired up, and we will go out there and absolutely stuff them. I am convinced of it. Sunderland aren't a great side, let's be honest. We are playing magical football, whatever 11 we put out. So why not be confident? Go to the stadium as shite and absolutely pour buckets of poo right over them. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to commentate on the game and play that goal-scoring music several times throughout the game. I love it. And Alex said it. It'll shut them up for all of this 6 in a row. These keys are these keys.
It won't know, will it? It won't know because they're not expected to win. So they've got nothing to lose.
Listen, they will get stuffed. End of story. We are much better than them. We will stuff them.
Plus, it's sandwiched in between Liverpool away and Man City at home. It just doesn't sit right with me. I've got to be honest.
Billy, doesn't matter what side we put out. We're playing brilliantly. Look at what we did at Old Trafford the other week. This is a different Newcastle United squad, a very different Newcastle United squad. And I am 100% behind the lads, and I'm not even worried about it. I think we will stuff them, and I cannot bloody wait, to be honest. I cannot wait till we stuff them. And I just, I'm feeling differently to you. But, hey, people will be nervous about it. There's no doubt about that. But I just think this is a very, very different Newcastle United squad that they've ever faced. The morale, the family, the whole confidence of this side is just absolutely buzzing. And, they'll go to Sunderland wanting to absolutely drub them. And we will play brilliantly. We will score loads of goals and we will shut the Mackems up. End of story. So roll on the 6th of January. I cannot wait. And I cannot wait to stuff Liverpool, stuff Man City, stuff them all, is what I say. After a performance like that yesterday. By the way, as well, before Alex gets to have his rant, I would just like to say, well done to the lasses again. Another 1-0 victory today against West Brom at Gosforth. They are absolutely flying. And I watched the game, actually, and it was brilliant to watch. They play some absolutely brilliant football. So congratulations again to Becky and the girls. Top of the league and absolutely flying. Alex, I actually don't know what this rant is about. You've just told me before we started that you have a rant. So, guys, get your steak emojis ready in the chat because this is it. Alex has a rant. Take it away, Mr. Stato.
Right. Well, it's just about Man United again and the culture. And I wasn't. This has been prompted by the reactions of Erik ten Hag and the Man United fans after the result. There's been some respect paid to us, and there's been some disrespectful comments. It's been a mixed bag. However, I just feel like their comments from players, management, and fans, they will never get back to the top with the current mentality that they've got. Now, we've got a friend of the channel in Alice Talks Football that we like, she's been on the channel, and she talks a lot of sense for a Man United fan. However, one of her recent reaction to that, she opened the video by saying, "We are meant to be Manchester United, and we are meant to be guaranteed top 4 every season. Must be in the top 3, pushing for a title every season." That's what she opened the video with. Similarly, I've got family who are dual Manchester United, dual Charlton supporters. I love my family. You do you. However, I feel like it's a mixed bag of this kind of mentality of dual club, of entitlement, and the manager's excuses. It's all of this summed up. It's the exact reason they will never get back on top, ever, if they continue this way. They will never be elite ever again if they continue in this way. It's down to the fans, the culture of the club. And I feel like there's only a handful of people who understand how it should be. And that's somebody like Roy Keane. He says these things, but then he acts on it. He walks the walk. He doesn't just talk the talk. And none of the people involved with the football club, whether it's from a fan level, board level, managerial level, coaching level, playing, none of them, they don't understand what it actually means. So I don't think they'll ever return to the elite of the game until they pack that in. You've got to earn your stripes. Or your ketchup-covered shirt, whatever color it is, you've got to actually work for it. It's just pure entitlement at this point. And I don't think the humbling's done anything. I'm shocked. I thought it would. It hasn't. They've come out of it, and they're just as confused as they were a week ago. And it's baffling. And yeah, I'm
Well,
just a little.
to be
I
fair,
feel a little bit sorry for them because they're just so lost.
Yeah,
they don't understand.
Well,
It's
Alice,
so weird.
Alice did do another video this morning and actually praised Newcastle United quite a lot in the video. So I think
she did indeed. Yeah, the analysis of the match was spot on.
raw.
It was that opening
was
quote,
very,
and it's that mentality, and I think that's the overall reason, in my opinion. Until they get rid of that as an entire club culture,
yeah,
they'll
I
never
agree.
be back.
But we all know how raw it can be when you're just making a comment straight after a game of football. I actually, I have to praise Mark Goldbridge actually because he was very complimentary in Newcastle, even on the United stand. He came out with one of the best quotes I've ever heard about not eating a cucumber from a woman's prison. I mean, that was absolute genius. But he had a lot of praise and over Newcastle United, and I think he did actually predict that Newcastle would beat them yesterday, and quite a lot of Man United fans did. They just weren't confident. And Billy, that first sort of 5 minutes of the game, it just signaled where the whole game was going, didn't it? Because Man United had the odd 5-minute spell here and there, put a bit of pressure on at the end of the game, as you'd expect. The 1-0 down, they've got to. But the way we controlled that game was just beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was against a team with 3 passengers in it. Let's be perfectly honest about it. There's 3 players in call out straight away for being passengers: Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, and Scott McTominay. Totally dominated, no effort, no passion, no nothing. You go to St James's Park with that kind of attitude, you're going to get your asses kicked. The scoreline doesn't say it was a good idea, but it was in reality. It was the most one-sided one I think I've ever seen. Yeah. So their attitude, the way they were set up, was just set up for us to really go at them, and we did, and dominate them from minute one. If you ask me, and I think they've got problems with Man United, and the Man United fans, it's not what they signed up for. They literally have signed up to be trophy winners. They're not going to be winning trophies for a long time, Manchester United, unless they have the odd Carabao Cup like last season. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got no 5 or 6 years they could be looking at relegation. It's that bad.
I mean, everybody has everybody knows my feelings on Marcus Rashford. I think he's overrated. I think he's bang overrated because I think he's got a poor attitude to the game of football at times. I think when he scores a goal, he gets his confidence up a little bit and he thinks, oh yeah, I'll play for a couple of games, but then he disappears. If you look at the 2 players, yesterday, you look at Anthony Gordon and you look at Marcus Rashford, and if you were coming into the ground for the first time, and you said one of them was an England international, you would not look at Marcus Rashford, Alex, because he was outshone again, and his attitude, he was diving, he was trying to win free kicks, his body language was all wrong, and we've seen this numerous times from a player like Marcus Rashford. But to be fair, we didn't let him play. We didn't let any of them play.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd agree with that, because when Marcus Rashford wants to play, he can. Some of the footwork and skill he produced in the final last year, when he wants to, he can. He's at that level.
Point, Alex. When he wants to, he doesn't play for the manager. He doesn't play for the team.
I agree with that, and that is one of the reasons why I don't think he should be on the plane to the Euros. I think most of that squad is pre-picked. I think players like Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips, Harry Maguire, I think they are guaranteed a place on the plane because Gareth Southgate has picked his squad and he knows who he wants. Most of them, maybe not all of them, but I would say around 18 to 20 are already pretty much guaranteed. And he knows that, and he's going to stick with them regardless of form to a point. With Phillips and Maguire, whether they're playing okay, he'll take them. He's not too bothered. However, Rashford is doing everything he can to burn that bridge because Southgate will generally take him no matter what, but Rashford is really pushing it. Like if he carries on like this, I think even Southgate will drop him. Like he's got to be careful because he's done it to Sterling. Rashford's got to be very careful, and it's tricky because the fans are starting to notice, the Man United fans.
Yeah, they are.
And if they sort of get hold of the notion that it's through laziness and he's thrown these toys out the pram because he's not playing on the right side, and if they get a hold of that as a concept and stick with it, he's buggered. He's absolutely buggered. So he's got to be a very careful boy this season, and he needs to maybe do a few interviews, maybe just actually come out and say you're playing for the shirt. We need to try harder. I need to take responsibility to do something, show some fight in a tough game. He needs to turn it around quickly, or he's going to be in big trouble because he's not playing at all at the moment.
I mean, look, for me, Gordon's ahead of Rashford when it comes to England, and when it comes to actual, when we signed Anthony Gordon, so many people said, "Oh, he's got a terrible attitude, he's lazy, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that." Yet all I've seen from Anthony Gordon when he's been fully fit is a fully committed player, a wonderful talent, Billy, somebody who sweats blood and tears for the shirt. He kissed the badge yesterday. He's properly bought into the Newcastle United, and he's absolutely loving his football. And we love him for that football because he's on fire. And there's no reason why Anthony Gordon cannot achieve magnificent things at this football club.
Well, when we were linked with him, we were chasing him. I felt like I was ploughing alone for her, actually, because a lot of people didn't want him. Shithouse, dickhead, all that kind of remarks about him. And I kind of said, well, we're kind of not showing the shithousery stakes ourselves. I mean, why wouldn't he fit in? It'd be an ideal addition.
Exactly.
And added to the fact he was a great player, he lost his way a little bit at Everton when they saw Richarlison. That was his partner in crime. They were fantastic together for Everton at their level. And when he went kind of out of the picture a little bit. We signed him just at the right time. We got him cheap, I think. 40 million is an absolute snip. They were asking 60 million to someone before that. Chelsea after him. They wanted 60 million for him then. So, yeah, it was a great signing for us. He was always going to come good because he always had the potential. He always had the technical ability. He always had the work rate. Put them two things together and you've got yourself a fantastic player. That's what we've got ourselves now.
I mean, a lot was said, and Jan makes a point there, Alex, of he doesn't want to play on the right. That's the manager. But if I don't care what Rashford wants, it's what is better for the team. If Anthony Gordon was told by Eddie Howe to play on the right, do you think he'd sulk? Absolutely not. He'd go and do just the same as what he does on the left.
Anthony Gordon would play in goal if Eddie Howe asked him.
Of course he would. But, I mean, Ten Hag's comments at the end of the game, Alex, really, frustrated me because he made a comment about, Manchester United having less of a day to recover, all of this crap, about the having to get the bus and stuff. And you know what it is? We've played the same 11. We've had to play the same 11 in 3 games in 7 days. So, it's a moot point, isn't it, what Ten Hag's trying to say, because he's got a squad.
Well,
it's not our fault that he's fallen out with most of them.
Oh no, he knows that's not true. He's using it. He's using it to deflect away from his squad. So I fully expect him behind closed doors to go, right, I've covered your backs to the media. You don't do that again because that was pathetic. I fully expect that to be whatever iteration of he utters in his strange words. But it will be a rehashing of that. Of basically, I've protected you in front of the cameras. You never give me a performance of that caliber again because nobody worked. Or maybe Maguire. I don't think the centre halves were particularly bad, if I'm honest. I thought they just had to try and defend.
Well, to be honest, Alex, if it wasn't for Schär and Maguire, we could have had 4 or 5. I think they were brilliant yesterday.
The typical scapegoats were actually okay. It was everything else that was poor. I think Ten Hag isn't stupid. He's fully aware that that's nonsense. He just said it to deflect it so he could protect his players and go in and say, look, don't do that again because that was terrible.
And Billy, Dan Burns got a hell of a fight on to get his place back in his team now because I genuinely think that Tino Livramento is an absolute gem. This guy has come in and has just performed wonderfully since he's been asked to come in and step up. He's gone to left back. He looks like he's played there for years and years. Him and Gordon work that left-hand side brilliantly. He's up supporting Gordon in attack. Gordon comes back and helps him in defence. They've just got a really good partnership going on right now, and it could develop into something really special, this partnership.
Yeah, and Gareth Southgate needs to get his finger out and get them both capped because they've both got chances to play for the countries, which is quite important. I mean, Livramento can play for Portugal, Gordon, of course, for Scotland. So I think Southgate next squad needs to get them in and needs to get them in the side and play them. I mean, they'll only be a friendly, but as soon as they're in the squad and playing, I think they'll obviously choose England, won't they? Tino Livramento is the best English left back in the Premier League, barring none. There aren't any better than him. Luke Shaw's
not even a left back.
Luke Shaw's not even better than him, and he's not even left back now. He's a right back with a left foot. So, since he's come in, he's been fantastic for every game he's played. I don't think he's made any mistakes at all, as I can remember. He provides willing assistance going forward. He overlaps. He even gives Gordon width outside him so they can overload. yeah, it's just a terrific player and with a terrific work rate as well. So another one of those players with work rate and technical ability, and you got yourself a star. We've got two of them on the same side of the pitch at the minute.
I mean, the youth in the squad, Alex, is quite incredible. You know, these players have, you know, you look at Lewis Miley again yesterday, just a brilliant performance. Just him, Bruno, and Joe Linton, I thought was sensational yesterday. They just ran the ship as far as I was concerned. Bruno was his technical brilliant again. Joe Linton was his physical brilliance. I think that was his best game for a long, long time for Big Joe. I really do. And then Miley just sitting in, playing things very simple, doing the good things very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a happy accident because Miley wouldn't have played these minutes if Longstaff and other midfielders were available. Obviously, with the Tonali suspension, Miley wouldn't have had these minutes. Players like Diallo and Parkinson and when he wouldn't be on the bench. So it's a massive silver lining for these young players in the squad because for the lads sat on the bench, fine, they don't get on, but they will have still had to go through training and the preparations for that match. They would have had to understand what was expected of them if they had to come on the pitch. They'd have been involved in all of the build up to that. So that's a massive experience for the lads who didn't even see the pitch. And then for Miley specifically to get those games in the bag for his experience is absolutely sensational. To go from playing youth level games to dipping his toe in the water in Carabao Cup, still against top level sides, and then boom, you get Chelsea, PSG, and then Manchester United. It's just that I don't think he'd have been able to get that experience. Playing sort of 6 to 12 months out on loan somewhere, fine. You get more minutes in the tank, but you don't get the experience of playing against such quality and hostility in terms of crowd environments as well. So that must have fast tracked him tenfold. And it's great for their development. It really is. I mean, it's fortunate that we've been able to accidentally develop people ahead of schedule and still win games. It's brilliant because that's not always guaranteed. Normally you get to pick one. So the fact that we've had both, we're very fortunate, and that's down to the manager as well.
And I think Dan Burn becomes a rotation player now. Absolutely no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Roadblock, thank you for being a member for 21 months. He says, great result against Man United last night. Great to see 10's meltdown, and they had to go home on the bus. Great time to be a mag. Ike 4pm, thank you for your £5 super chat. That's your first one to the channel, I believe, so thank you very much. Carol Harris, thank you for 19 months of membership. And Peter Bjordford, thank you for 27 Swedish krona. He says, for fuck's sake, hit the like button. There you go. So you've been told by Mr. Bjordford there to hit the like button. The engine room, Alex, yesterday was pretty impressive, of course. I've just mentioned them, the three midfielders. Bruno was just sensational again. But Joe Linton, I think that was his best game in a long time, Alex. I think, putting himself about, winning balls, driving forward. He was always available as well. There was some lovely little, both from him and Bruno, when sharing Lascelles playing it out to the two midfielders, lovely little flicks out to the wings, and combining with the wide men very well, which was impressive.
Yeah. Joe Linton, I mean, I agree with what you said earlier in that it was probably Joe Linton's best performance of the season or in a long time. I'd say the City game when he came back from injury in the Cup and this one were the two standout ones for me. And he was just a physical beast. There were certain duels in that game where he was just monstrous. I went through his ground duels on the podcast last night, but I think he lost one. It was outrageous. It was 10 out of 12. Well, he lost 2. 10 out of 12 ground duels, which is he just battled for every ball. Recently, he's been kind of a disruptive destroyer in that he wouldn't always win the ball back for us, but he would disrupt play. So, he wasn't credited with winning all the duels, but he'd just be very disruptive with his presence. Whereas against Man United, not only was he disruptive, he won the ball back all the time. He was very, very dominant in that game. In his presence, he put his stamp on the midfield and basically said to that Mainu and McTominay, it's my ball. You go stand over there. This is my ball. And it was his ball for most of the game. They couldn't touch him. They couldn't touch him at all.
Yep. Billy, I know obviously you've been raving about Bruno and he's the best midfielder you've seen. possibly ever at Newcastle United. And he wasn't in the faces of Man United yesterday, was he? He stayed out of all the unnecessary, whinging and things like that. He just kept himself away from it, got on with the game, and just did things with pure excellence yet again.
Yeah, he didn't need to, because all the whinging was going on from the Man United Bruno. Let's be honest about it. And I think that was his aim yesterday, was to outshine Bruno Fernandes, which he did 20 times over. There's no doubt in my mind that Bruno Guimaraes is a far better player than Bruno Fernandes will ever be. Got more to his game. Would be, in fact, be a better captain than him, because I think he showed leadership skills yesterday. Very disciplined. Didn't get involved, as you said. And generally, he does get involved, but he didn't need to yesterday. Let his feet do the talking, and his feet spoke some words yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Bruno and Joe Linton, when they're playing like that, I think they're untouchable. I really do. I think teams find it extremely difficult to play against us when we've got, the two midfield men battling like that. And then we've got somebody like Lewis Miley. I've just seen a comment saying Longstaff will struggle to get back in the side. I don't think that's going to be the case, because we have to remember that Lewis Miley is only 17, and we have to, and listen, it's okay for us to say on camera, but I think Eddie would know this better than anybody. He is so good at bringing these players on. He won't rush Miley into anything. Yes, he's having a run of games at the minute, but that, as Alex said, has been forced by injuries. But Longstaff has done nothing wrong either. And, it was only a few weeks ago he was saying, oh, look how much we miss Sean Longstaff when he doesn't play. Miley stepped up to the plate, absolutely so. But we have to remember that he's still very much 17-year-old. And I think Eddie will just take his time with him. He won't play every single game. And I think that's probably the right move, because he doesn't want to push him too hard at the start. But to know we've got him coming through, or we'll have him on the bench, we can rotate him around, is absolutely brilliant. But we have to talk about our centre-backs, because, you know what? I mean, we'll come on to Fabian Schär shortly, but Jamal Lascelles, Alex, I mean, every ball that Man United swung into that box, yet again, Lascelles got his head on it. It was incredible defending from Jamal. And again, he's just proven everybody wrong, isn't he? I mean, he's just... we think, oh, Lascelles is starting again, but we just have pure faith in him now. And he seems to have just slotted in next to Fabian Schär into that back four. I mean, to have Schär to his left and Kieran Trippier to his right, that would make me feel good as stepping in as a centre-back, to be honest. But I think, he has really, really stepped up to the plate, not only as a player, but a captain.
Yeah, completely. I think, you've hit the nail on the head there with who's to the left and the right of him. It takes a massive weight off his shoulders, and that he's not got to play the killer ball himself. If it's on, have a go by all means. But his job is pass it, be careful. If we're getting pressed, use your outlets, make sure we don't lose the ball. 91% pass accuracy against Manchester United, and the aerial presence as well. 8 out of 9 aerial duels. He only lost 1 all game. Absolute monster in the air. As we've explained before, a little bit quicker as well. We've essentially identified, right, what does Jamal Lascelles do well? Okay, let's do lots of that. Let's not push it out too far. Let's just do lots of that. We're keeping it really simple with him. He's not trying all the flamboyant stuff. He's not the one stepping into midfield. He did it a couple of times in recent games, and he's lost the ball. He didn't do it against Manchester United. I feel like he's doing what he is definitely good at. He's taking fewer risks. It's not that he can't do that. Of course, he probably can at certain levels of football. But when we're playing against the best teams, although we won't include Manchester United in that, it's tricky. But he's doing all the simple things well. He's a physical monster. And then if we do need a different angled pass, he's got those two next to him. And it's an extremely it's extremely humble what he's doing. I think he's fully accepting of what he's really good at and what he's not good at, and that is what he's doing on the pitch, and that's very humble. And I think it's possibly more inspiring in a leadership role that he's just brilliant. He's brilliant at the moment.
Yeah, and of course, Billy, next to him is Fabian Schär, and we said on the commentary yesterday that we were running out of superlatives for this guy, because he's every game we watch him play now, I mean, he has to be up there as one of the best ball-playing centre-halves in the Premier League right now. He has to be, because the amount of times he just brought the ball out the air yesterday, Billy, and then just brought it forward and put us on the front foot, and not just in space. He took 2 or 3 on it, at various times as well.
I'll go higher than that. He is the best ball-playing centre-half in the league at the moment, barring none. Absolutely no doubt about it. Because not only has he got the passing ability that he's blatantly got, the long passing ability, which he pings balls out to both flanks. He can beat plays as well. He goes past plays with aplomb. He creates chances. He creates havoc in the opponent's defence. And at the same time, he's defensively sound as well. And he saved us a goal yesterday with that fantastic block from the Reguilon volley. So all in all, not only is he the best ball-playing centre-half in the league, I've been saying it for a few weeks now, I think he's the best centre-half in the league.
High praise indeed. Samsonite Dove, thank you very much for your 50 Danish krona. He says, Schär reminds me of prime Franz Beckenbauer. Amazing.
The difference is Franz Beckenbauer sat behind 2 centre-halves. For Fabian Schär is actually the centre-half. He's not got a safety net.
Very different positions with him. But look, it's incredible that he's getting these incredible compliments, because it wasn't long ago that he was expected to leave the club, and now he's one of the most important players in that squad. His passing range, Alex, is simply sensational. It's very rare. I mean, he does have the odd one pass that'll go astray or something like that, but the majority of the time his vision is incredible. To see the likes of Gordon or Miggy making a run, and 9 out of 10 times, it's right on the foot of the wide player.
Yeah, the passing range is ridiculous. I would go as far as to say this season, but just based on this season, I agree with Billy. He's the best centre-half in the league. And clip it, Liverpool fans, all you want. He's better than Van Dijk this season. Van Dijk's been very good this season. But Fabian Schär, the fact he's been able to do this, right-sided centre-half, left-sided centre-half, with no changes, no drop-off in form. If anything, it's gone better. He stands over a dead ball at a free kick and people get nervous because he's dangerous. He's a dangerous free kick taker. He can ping him 30 to 60 yards, put it on a dime, left, right. He can drive it into midfield. He had 4 shots on his own against Manchester United. He's deadly with those shots as well. He will defend teammates in a scrap. His defensive ability is incredible. He's dangerous from set pieces. His tracking, it was covering his fullback if they're out of position. Nice slide tackles, putting out fires as well. I can't think of anything he's missing. And when you talk about complete centre halves, he is that. And what centre halves do you know that stand over a dead ball? He's got so much extra to his game. There's things that people don't even consider. Van Dijk doesn't take free kicks. Van Dijk doesn't score from 30 yards out.
Yeah.
Like there is, I understand that Van Dijk might be better than him in certain areas. Maybe overall defensively, it's possible you could say Van Dijk's better than Schär. Fine. But I mean, if we look at the whole thing this season, it's got to be Fabian Schär. It's just so versatile. It's unreal. I think I say this to Billy all the time. In a previous life, he was a striker. I think he's just such a good footballer. He really is.
He is. Now, of course, Billy, a lot of people are saying in the chat, about Botman, when he comes back, does he walk straight back in the side? We said a couple of weeks ago that Botman does walk straight back in the side. Has that changed with yourself over the last couple of weeks? Are you thinking, personally, I'll give you my view. I think Botman does come straight back in because I think Botman is a better footballer and all-round better player than Lascelles. As harsh as that sounds, and the way Jamal Lascelles is playing, Botman is he's a Rolls Royce.
I think we can afford to play him in gently. That's all I'll say on the matter. I don't think we need to rush him back in as quickly as we would have done at one time. Yeah. I think we can kind of ease him in with a few minutes here and there, and then maybe bring him in for a cup game or something. I don't think there's any rush to bring him back, if I'm perfectly honest. Get him right first. Then when he's fully fit, then we can have that argument. But at the minute, I don't see how you can drop Lascelles because he's playing out of his skin. Yeah,
I agree. Now, before we do the player ratings, very, very sad injury, of course, yesterday, Alex, to Nick Pope. And it was a freak injury. Of course, it was a volley that who was it that hit the volley?
Reguilon.
Reguilon hit the volley. And for me, that was going in the back of the net if it wasn't for Fabian Schär's incredible clearance. However, Nick Pope dived for the ball, Alex, went down and didn't get back up. Now, at the time, me and Billy thought it might have been Nick Pope's little, how sometimes he has a little bit of a calf strain or something like that, and brings the physio on just to give the lads a breather. But it soon became apparent that this was a pretty bad injury. It looked like he was holding his knee, but then he stands up and walks sort of sideways like a crab off the pitch, and then it's been confirmed now that his shoulder's gone.
Yeah, it is a shame, that one. Although I do want to preface it by saying I do think we've got one of the best second choice goalkeepers in the league in Dubravka, and hopefully we see some improvements in his style and goalkeeping when he comes back in. But that's a conversation for another day in another preview. But yeah, in terms of Nick Pope, Eddie Howe mentioned in his conference or interview, whatever it was, that it's an injury he's had before, has been operated on before. These were his words. So it's obviously something previous. It's not been an issue since he's been with us, but it's obviously something he landed on very, very hard, and it's obviously just done something to it. You would imagine it would need surgery again. There have been loads of different timescales thrown out by different people. I think we've got to wait until certain injuries you can tell, but the thing is with a shoulder is it's so complex and so many different components to it. I think as everybody watching this, I think you should take anything with a pinch of salt until we hear from the club. There are obviously, you can make guesses with things like hamstrings and fractures. You can make lots of reasonably educated guesses, but with shoulders, it is very, very different. I would just wait and see what we get from the club. Well, 100% it's going to be months. It's just a case of how
Eddie did confirm that he has done his shoulder, but obviously timescale wise, then obviously needs to be that needs to come from the medical team. So it's such a shame, but I'm not really worried about Dubravka stepping in. Like you say, Alex, I think he's one of the better second choice goalkeepers in the Premier League. Let's be honest. And I know there was that rigmarole with Man United, etc., but he came in yesterday and stood tall as usual. I remember one cross he came for. He came, commanded it. It took a bang in the ribs himself for that, but he got on with the game. I'm not worried about Martin Dubravka at all.
I mean, it's worth noting that it's the same as a lot of our other rotation players. When we started using rotation players early days of Eddie Howe, they were bad. When we rotated the teams in cup games, we were crap. Whereas this season, they've all had a lot longer to work with the coaches. They all understand what is expected of them. And all of our fringe players / squad players have put in considerably better performances, like Kraft and Dummett, those kinds of players, even Richie to a point. They understand the identity of the team. They understand exactly what's expected of them through the last couple of years of really probably very, very good training sessions. And I would hope that we can see that will apply to Dubravka as well. Because he will have been all the keepers trained together. We got that really insightful video when Shea Given went and trained with them. Yep. They'll all do the training together. So Dubravka will be training to do the same things as Nick Pope does them. So I'm really hoping we can see some extra elements to Dubravka's game, and we can maybe see an improved goalkeeper. So I'm really excited to see him, to be fair.
Yeah. George says, thank you, TTR. I wore my TTR hoodie for last night's match. It was a godsend. Kept my ears lovely and warm. A recommendation for all to buy one. Thank you, George. I hope to see you at the game soon, matey. I'm really missing not being at St James's Park, but I keep getting told health comes first, so I need to take that as priority. Right, let's do the player ratings, guys. Join us in the chat for this and let us know if you agree with them. I think majority should be quite straightforward on the player ratings tonight, to be honest, but we'll see if anyone has their Simon Cowell hat on. Right, we'll start with you, Billy, for Nick Pope.
Yeah, he had nothing to do, and the poor fella's come off with a dislocated shoulder. One save from Garnacho with his feet early doors.
Yeah, poor left foot shot, though, wasn't it?
Would he have got to the Regui on volley? Possibly. I'm going to give him a 9.
Yeah, I'm going Pope a 9 as well. I thought what he did have to do, he did very well.
Distribution was much better as well, much better.
Yeah, absolutely. I really don't have a problem with Nick Pope yesterday. I think he was solid. 7, 8, and 9s coming in on the chat. Alex?
7, but for the same reasons as you. I agree with everything you guys said, but I feel like that warrants a 7. And not through no fault of his own, because it just
but we
good.
have this discussion about goalkeepers all the time, Alex. It's not Nick Pope's fault. He didn't have a lot to do, so we have to rate him on what he did. So the small things that he did, I think he should have a 9. Because if we're giving him a 7, it's like...
But it would be the same as having a fullback where the winger never attacks on that side. If a team attacks on one side and the opposite fullback never gets run at,
but a fullback,
I would score the fullback
gets
lower.
more in a game than a goalkeeper when it's like that. Listen,
it's very subjective. I mean, it is. I can't say that you're wrong or I'm right. It's one of those where it is 50-50.
It is. I just think, we've been so last season when Nick Pope was... had very quiet games for nothing to do with his fault. It was just the defense were absolutely superb. We kept giving him
we need a new rating system, don't we? We need to come up with a new way to rate a goalkeeper.
Well, what I'm trying to do is, I'll tell you now, Alex. What I'm trying to do is trying to get a hold of trying to put something on our website where you can go on and during the review show you can go on and vote. And then we can do it, and then we see what the average rating is for the player. I think if we can get a hold of that, something like that to put on the website. So if anyone has any clue of how to do that on the website, let me know, and you can help us do that, because I think that would be a lot more interactive for a player ratings. Is get everybody in the chat going on the website, and then us three do it at the end of the show. And then we see what the average rating for each player is. I think it'd be quite interesting to do it that way.
I'm giving Pope a sympathy point as well for the injury, to be honest.
Well,
I got absolutely ripped for that. I can't remember who it was, but I did that for someone a couple of months ago, and you guys ripped me for it.
I remember it was Trippier, wasn't it?
Was it Trippier?
I think so.
I can't remember what it was. Somebody in the chat will remember. I did exactly that and got absolutely battered for it.
I can remember that, but I don't know. I don't know who it was. I can't remember now. Anyway, let's move on to Kieran Trippier, Alex.
I think he can't really get any less than a 10 for that performance. I mean, energy, considering how much he's played, he got the assist as well. The revenge nutmeg on Garnacho was hilarious. The amount he was involved in the game as well. He was very, very careful because they were using Jamal as a press trigger, and he was very careful getting himself out into space to be an outlet ball. And to be fair, Miley helped a lot with that as well. He was very clever positionally. But yeah, 113 touches of the ball, 6 key passes is outrageous. And the free kick that hit the underside of the crossbar. I mean, he was playing out of his skin. They just couldn't handle him. Yeah, 10 out of 10. It was amazing from Trippier.
By the way, we now have a poll that is live at the top of the chat. Who was your man of the match yesterday? The 4 options are Gordon, Bruno, Schär, and Joe Linton. We can only put 4 on the poll. I know there's more than that probably, but that is the 4 players that are going live on the poll at the moment. So that is up there on the website in the chat. So get voting for your man of the match, guys, and we will see at the end of the show who was your man of the match. Billy, what you giving Kieran Trippier?
Well, it's a blatant 10. Yeah, absolutely. Manchester United tried to cope with Almiron cutting inside, and that just allowed Kieran Trippier to overload with putting Dello there. You know, he usually plays at right back, doesn't he? All right footed. So to match Almiron up, but they forgot all about Trippier. Trippier overloaded that wing brilliantly. Assist for the goal. Free kick also in the bar was so close. He had a fantastic game. It's
so frustrating when you keep looking at that free kick and you think, God, how many times do you see free kicks like that hit the underside of the bar and bounce into the net? I remember Kabai's goal against Manchester United, which did a very similar thing. But unfortunately for Kieran, it bounces and it's so frustrating. Maud, thank you very much for your 25 Saudi Arabian Real. He says, hi guys. Hi Maud, hope you're well out there in Saudi and keeping well. I'm giving Trippier a 10 as well. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. I thought his deliveries into the box were great. The only thing I'd like to see, and this isn't just Kieran Trippier, I think sometimes I'd like to see the ball come into the box a little bit earlier, but we've spoke about this before, and maybe shooting dare I say, shooting. We were a bit.
The thing is with that though, that's really difficult to figure out if it's instructional or not. So it's hard to critique them on it.
I just think that sometimes shots were available yesterday, Alex, and they didn't pull the trigger. I just.
But again, is that instructional?
Exactly.
Is that try to reduce shots from 25 and work the high value opportunity, recycle it, keep possession? Is that the instruction, or is the instruction if you think it's on, have a 25-yard pop? Like it's difficult to call them to say they should have done this and not that because we don't know what they were told to do.
Yeah. We'll never know that, but it's just an observation, shall we say?
No, of course.
We didn't overload the box either, so the crosses things kind of move, I think.
Well,
so if there's plenty of bodies in the box, then maybe, but we didn't really overload the box that much.
Yeah, we'll come on to that. Right, Livramento. I'm going to give Tino a 10. I thought he was absolutely superb yesterday. Bossed the position. I just love. He went on another run yesterday, very similar to the one he did against Paris Saint-Germain earlier in the week. Look, the way he's playing with Gordon, supporting each other, both going forward and coming back. Listen, I think this guy's special, and I don't think he gets removed out of the team at all. I think he's earned that place. And, Tino Livramento at left back for me for now. And then maybe he takes over from Kieran when Kieran decides to hang his boots up. But for now, he's our left back as far as I'm concerned. And I think it's very difficult for Dan Burn, Lewis Hall, Matt Targett, any of them to try and knock him off his position. So 10 for me. Alex?
Yeah, absolute 10. 5 out of 7 ground duels when you've got Wan-Bissaka on that side. And Wan-Bissaka is probably, I would say, he's the best defensive fullback in the league for recovery runs, hook tackles. If he's on one defensively, you ain't getting past him. And Tino won 5 out of 7 duels in that game. Yep. Part of that is inflated by Rashford being absolutely pants. But even so, he still had to get round the fullback. Yeah, just it's technically not his good side because he is right-footed. I mean, although it's becoming difficult to figure out if that's really true. And there were so many pundits yesterday that were saying, God, we need to cap this guy for England because we're going to lose him because he's really, really good. And the fact that all of the neutral media are going, quick, we need to cap him because he's really good. Like they know it. People like we saw it early on in the season. It was his first 2 cup games, man of the match, and we went, oh my God, he's not bad, is he? And then it's carried on, and now the neutrals are going, God, Tino's really good. Absolute 10.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. There's no more superlatives can be leveled at him. He's fantastic. He really is. Got a fantastic kind of combination going down that left-hand side with Anthony Gordon as well. It's threatening at all times. He can stay wide. He doesn't have to cut inside because his left foot is almost as good as his right. Perfect balance for us. He's just really improved our defence and attacking options in one go.
Yeah. Guys, we've got nearly 1,300 people in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you are new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Come and be part of this incredible community and hit the notification bell, which will also let you know when we schedule our live shows or we upload any recorded ones. But we only have 371 likes, guys. You know what to do out there. Just take 1 second right now and hit that thumbs up just underneath the 3 of us. We want to get that as high as we can. The reason we keep asking you for this is because it keeps the Toon Review YouTube channel right up there in the algorithm with YouTube. If we get lots of likes, YouTube algorithm picks it up that there's something good happening on the channel, and they put us in the search results for fellow fans like yourselves to find us. So I know we go on about it a lot, but it is really, really important, guys. So please just take time out to give us a thumbs up. Thank you, guys.
Sorry, before we disappear on Livramento, I just want to say one more thing about our transfer policy, because there were a lot of question marks about why have we gone and pulled the trigger on getting 2 fullbacks when the squad potentially needed strengthening in other areas. We explained the reasons why, and this is, you can see why now, is that they were banking on these 2, or at least one of them being a generational talent or being super high potential. Similarly to how we went for Anthony Gordon, we saw Amanda's comments in the documentary of we want Gordon because of what he could become and what we think he's going to be. Yeah, that was wise because Tino and Lewis Hall were both available in that window. And I understand we probably had priorities in other areas, but it was an opportunity that we weren't going to get again. And this, I think, if we had the opportunity to do this in another window, I think we will do it again, and we should do it again. It might not be the best thing for what we need in the window, but I'm so glad we didn't pass up on Livramento, because look how good he is. He's just incredible.
Gary's asking, what does XG mean in the stats? He's asking Alex that. We'll get him to explain that in another show. It's just obviously we're doing the player ratings now, so we will. He explains it very well and in layman's terms, so you'll understand what it is. Right, what we'll do is we'll go with both centre backs, so we'll rate them both, Lascelles and Schär. Billy,
both 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah,
defensively solid, both of them. And Fabian Schär's mixture of Glenn Hoddle and Paul Gascoigne passing the ball and taking players on. Going forward was just a sight to behold. It really was. Yeah, I think Fabian Schär was my man of the match, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah, 10s for me as well. I can't. I mean, listen, many people say, Schär was so much better than Lascelles, but Lascelles was a 10. So Schär should be a 15, a 20, or whatever it is. We can't give him any higher. He's just magnificent. 10s across the board. Alex?
Well, I'm using your logic, and I'm giving Lascelles a 9 and Schär a 10 for that reason. Shite! Well, because Schär was better, there's got to be a level up because Schär was better. But Lascelles was brilliant, absolutely magnificent. However, Schär did similar and also had 4 shots on goal. Won us the free kick where Trippier hit the underside of the crossbar. They were. Lascelles did everything pretty much perfectly that he had to do, but Schär did his job and so much more. Like, he gets an extra point, and we can't go to 11.
Players, though, aren't there? Lascelles isn't a ball-playing centre half who can run up the field. I think they're very different players, which is why
that's what Schär's for. I can't penalise Schär for that reason.
Lascelles did his job, what he's there for a 10 for me. And on the other side, Schär plays a very different game, so he gets a 10 for the way he played his game. So
was Schär your man of the match, Alex? Was Schär your man of the match?
I'll wait till the end of the ratings for that.
Well, whoever's man of the match should all get a mark more than everyone else. Then
let's say we get a game. Let's say we get a game where Lascelles scores 2 goals from headers from set pieces, and he also does that defensive work. We've got to give ourselves room to go up in rating, in my opinion. And I feel like Lascelles can have games like that and also put it in the back of the net.
Porter's got a good point here, a very good point actually. You can't mark Lascelles down because Schär was too good.
I mean, I can, because that's what I've done. I've not marked him down, but Schär has set the bar at that level, and Lascelles didn't reach it.
Somebody put in the comment, actually, Lascelles is is more of a... I can't find the bloody thing now. Lascelles is a more sort of physical kind of stay back defender. Schär is the way they played their games, the way they play. I think they played their games to a 10 yesterday. So, but 9 is still superb. So I don't know what we're fighting about anyway. But let's move on. Right, we'll go for the midfielders, and I'm going to do something very strange here. Is we're going to do all 3 midfielders at the same time as well. So, Alex, you can have Miley, Bruno, and Big Joe.
I'm going to go for 9 for a Miley. 9 for a Miley. I'm making new sentences up now. Miley gets a 9. Bruno gets a 9, and Joelinton gets a 10. Miley didn't do anything overly extravagant, but I think that's maybe instructional. But he's so simple in his football, very careful with his passing, very physical, good in the air as well. He joins in the attack on the right-hand side. He was very, very good at helping Lascelles being out ball. He helped with Trippier as well. Bruno was... I made a Perlo comment in the podcast last night with Billy because I just thought he was very metronomy in that game. He was very sort of, I'm going to stand in the middle.
I wish you wouldn't bring the metronomes up, Alex. Every time you say that, I think the little dwarfs walking around the metro centre.
No.
I can't put metronomes in the same character. It's strange.
But I want to obviously mention what Billy said. Yeah, Bruno played with more maturity yesterday, with a little bit more leadership quality. Understood he got a kid next to him and that he had to grow up. And he did, 100%. He was brilliant. Yeah. And then Joelinton gets a point more because he did a lot of that and just a little bit more. He was so aggressive and so vital with all the most of the extra possession. A lot of it was down to what Joelinton was doing. And he deserves a 10 in my opinion. So 10, 9, 9. Well,
I'm going 8, 9, 10. Miley an 8, Joelinton a 9, and Bruno a 10. I thought Bruno just ran the show again. He completely outclassed Fernandez. He was just dominant. Joe Linton back to his physical, just best. Miley gets an 8 from me because but I mean an 8 for a 17-year-old kid, just incredible. Billy.
Bruno 10, Joe Linton 10, Miley 9 for me. And if Miley had scored that chance which was blocked, he'd have got a 10 as well. I thought Miley was fantastic. I think the 17-year-old kid hardly lost the ball in the whole game. Sensible performance, mature performance. Bruno ran the show, and Joe Linton was the ultimate killing machine. He absolutely battled them. So 10, 10, 9.
Okay. I think Miley definitely deserves credit for that shot as well. That was... Bissaka made the block of his life, of his career.
I don't think he caught. It was a brilliant block, but I don't think Miley caught it 100% though. And then Billy picked that up.
That was going in though.
It was going in.
Bissaka will never block a shot as clean and in a perfect situation. He will never do that again in his career.
Yeah,
and it's a big shame that Miley didn't get that goal.
They did lots of that, though, didn't they? Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, and Shaw.
Wan-Bissaka's a good player. Let's be honest. He always has been. But look. It just excellent. People disagreeing with my Miley.
I feel like, look, I kind of agree that Miley's performance was probably an 8. I'm just kind of giving him a little bit more. I'm factoring in age and who he was up against as well with Bruno Fernandes and Shaw, who's obviously an experienced England international, who's played at the highest level. For Miley to be so in control.
The press were making it all about the two 17-year-olds in midfield yesterday, weren't they? With
they made a big point of that as a narrative, and Miley came out on top. So should I be inflating his score because of his age? I don't know, but I mean I am doing.
Yeah, I'm going to say you've done it now, so it doesn't matter. Right now, the two wide men. We go for Miggy and Anthony Gordon. Billy,
Gordon 10. Winning goal, terrorised Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
Despite his fantastic defensive ability, he did terrorise him. So 10 for that, and the work rate, helping out defensively.
Yeah,
I'm going to give Miggy an 8. Out of all the players, I think he was the one least at it, if I'm perfectly honest. Things didn't quite go his way. But it wasn't for one to try in, and 8 out of 10 still a good score.
Yeah, I'm going exactly the same scores, actually. Gordon speaks for himself. Billy, you've said it perfectly. With Miggy, I was disappointed with his shooting yesterday, I have to say. His final ball just was a bit annoying. But I'm taking nothing away from Miggy. He's in a good run of form at the minute, and he's terrorising defenders. But it's just, I'd just like to see a better final product from Miggy. We've seen him cut in from the right and score screamers with his left foot before. It just didn't happen for him yesterday with the shooting. But I'm not so sure I agree with you about him being the poorest, but we'll come on to that. Alex?
Oh, yeah.
Gordon can have a 10.
If you didn't give Gordon a 10, Alex, I would have jumped through this screen and punched you in the middle of the face.
Yeah,
not that we condone any violence on the Toon review.
Yeah, so defensive work rate, just sprints all day long. And it was very, very clever movement to get the goal as well. He understood what was unfolding in that sequence of play. He read it like a book. It's like he'd already got the script there. He made an outside run. Wan-Bissaka didn't sit well. Wan-Bissaka saw it, but he was already 3 yards in front of him. It was gone. He was never going to catch up. It was very clever for a winger as well. He's not a centre forward. That's kind of Callum Wilson sneak off the last man. That was very clever. His goal output is ridiculous. And Miggy, I'm teetering between a 7 and an 8.
Yeah.
I want to give him a 7 because I felt like in the last half an hour he was anonymous because he was tired, which is not his fault. But Foxy's pointed out something in the chat I'm going to go with an 8. Foxy swayed me there by saying, his movement assisted with the goal because it provided additional space, and he had a great first half. It was just his shooting boots weren't on. I'll go for the 8, but it was a little bit mixed.
Okay. Crypto Rambo, thank you very much for your $10. He says, hi, boys from Los Angeles. I will be in Newcastle in March for a Premier League game. I can't wait. I am converting my fellow Americans to Newcastle fans. Most of them follow Man United and Chelsea one at a time. Well, I'm sure you can. I don't think you can have much of a problem converting them. But good on you. Good on you. Right. We will move on to Isak, and I'm going to start with Isak, and I'm probably going to upset a lot of people here, but I'm giving him. I'm giving him a 5. I've said this last week that I had me worries with Isak. I think he fades incredibly quickly in games, and I know he's had a lot of games at the minute, and he can't get himself going. But I just think there's something missing at the minute. There was a couple of times yesterday that he went one-on-one with defenders, and he just didn't have it. And I'm thinking, interesting. And I know he's probably not fit yet, but I can only score him on what I see. And I know I'm getting hammered for it, but then people are hammering me for it and then giving him sixes. So what's the difference? So I just think he looks extremely sluggish at the moment. He's not a threat. And last season when he was taking people on and he was doing so much, I think he was a real threat, but I'm not seeing him as that threat at the minute. But again, I'll reiterate that he is a quality footballer and he will get better. But at the moment, I'm not seeing it from Isak, and I want to see more. But that's just my opinion. But people that are hammering me for it and then giving him a 6, have a word with yourselves. Billy?
I thought for the first hour he was very good. I thought his close control was fantastic. Probably should have scored, actually, with a deflected shot. But he did definitely fade in the last half an hour, and some of these choices he made in the last half an hour weren't great. Whether that was down to tiredness, I'm pretty sure it was. And when he went one-on-one with Amrabat and didn't get past him, that was a sign how tired he was. So I'll give him a 6.
Okay. Abs has given him an 8. Abs, let us know why you're giving him an 8. I'm just not getting at anybody. Just I'd like to know why you're giving him an 8. Alex?
I'm going to give him a 7. I agree with Billy's comments. I'm impressed by how much we got out of him in the first 60 minutes. I thought we would get less because I just think he's exhausted. He's not got a natural gas tank like Gordon has. He really does have to play himself into full fitness. And we've seen games where he's a pressing monster, but it takes him ages to get up there. He needs to be rotated with Wilson, and he's not got that opportunity. So I think that has to be noted. However, the first half, a couple of spins and runs, bringing others into the game, close control passes. He got 0.74 expected assist in that game. He should have scored as well. He was unfortunate not to. Maybe just a little bit tired, because of how much he's playing, which is not his fault. You join a football team, you expect there to be another striker for you to rotate with. You don't expect to be able to have to play 3 games in a week. I can't blame him for that. But yeah, he did fade in the final half an hour, which of course he did. Absolutely, of course he did. What did we expect? So I'm going to give him a 7 because I think he used the time he had energy for very well. And it helped with that domination and shot creation, and he brought lots of players into the game. But even though I'll give him a 7, I do have to point out I am sick of him not jumping to win the ball. He needs to start going for aerial duels. He needs to start trying to get his head on it and bringing it into play.
Who used to do that as well? Who used to frustrate me doing that?
Willock used to do the same thing.
No, Mitrovic. He used to try and roll his body round, try and chest it down all the time, didn't jump for headers. And that is something that I did mention in the commentary yesterday, that he's just not jumping for headers.
But it's something that we mentioned when we signed him. When we did the original show, when we first signed him, we pointed out, I think he's in the bottom 20th percentile-ish for aerial duels 1. He's less than 1 per game. And again, we don't need him to be winning all of them. I know he's not a traditional meathead centre forward, but he is 6'3". We could do with him winning more than 1 header a game. I feel like that's fair. But from your number 9 up front, I feel like it's fair as a fan to want him to win more than 1 header in a 90-minute game. I feel like surely that's a minimum expectation to win a few.
Ian. Not once did I say that. Where did I said Mitrovic used to do the same thing as Isak and not jump for headers. I didn't say I wanted Mitrovic instead. Jesus wept. Anyway, just I know it's Sunday night and everybody's still buzzing and probably a little bit hungover from yesterday, but let's just open the ears a little bit. Look, I'm rating Isak on his performance. I'm not rating him on his fitness or how well he runs.
I do think 5's a little bit harsh. I thought he was quite good in the first half. I don't really care because I think you would bollocks Lascelles as scorer, but that's just the player ratings. We do it every week. Bit different.
So the fact. No different at all. It's called opinions, Alex.
Very different.
Very much opinions. And my opinion is that I am very rarely wrong, but I'm always right. Now, listen, the point of the matter is, right, I'm rating them on what I see on the pitch. And that's why I've given him a 5. I don't think he's offering very much to us at the moment. It's an opinion, but I'm still seeing people having a go at me and then giving him a feckin' 6. What difference is a 5 to a 6 for the love of God?
Bang out of order, well, Paul. I'll tell you, I've given him 5.
No. Jesus Christ. It's crazy. Absolutely. I hate it.
Foxy's just hit the nail on the head. We need another striker.
Yeah,
obviously, if he trusted Parkinson or Ndiweni to come on as a rotation player, he would have done it by now, and he's not done it.
Yeah, he's not done it too.
Therefore, we need another striker in January. We just need another option. He doesn't have to be world class, but he just needs to be good enough to be trusted as a rotation option, because at the moment he's not trusting the young ones. So you need an extra player.
Barry the B says, thank you for your $4.99, Barry. Isak's been told not to push himself too much, not to injure himself. Think about it. If Isak is injured, who do you play up front? We can't move Gordon at the moment.
I mean,
how do you know that Isak's been told that?
I mean, it's possible, but we can't prove it.
Kenzie says, Paul, you have good patience, buddy. Must be hard having to deal with people who don't listen properly. And 5 is generous, Paul. Fair play to you. There. Thank you. Honestly, you try and have an opinion and you just get shot with a shit gun. But hey, that's what I can't wait to just put the player ratings on the website and let it be done. And then we can just score as we go. Are we all done on Isak? Anybody else want to add anything?
I think, well, the difference between yesterday and Tuesday was, I think he needed to be pulled off on Tuesday. I think we needed legs up front. I don't think it was as much needed yesterday, because I don't think Man United pushed us back as much. So that's the difference between the two games for me.
Barry says 100% he has. Isak's injured or you're fooked. Well, Barry, I tell you what, tell me the lottery numbers next week, matey, because you seem to be fecking Mystic Meg tonight. Ryan, you need to have a serious word with yourself. He says, not even kidding. Joselu would be perfect as third choice, but he's already on loan at Madrid.
Did you watch the Real Madrid-Napoli game, Ryan? It took him about 64 shots before he finally hit a barn door. And then he apologized to the fans with his celebration because he knew he should have scored prior to that. His goal celebration was an apology. Honestly, go watch the Napoli Real Madrid highlights. You'll laugh.
Joselu is not suited to the Premier League.
He's a good player, but it doesn't really suit what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Right, we're not rating any substitutes because they came on too late. It's pointless. Eddie Howe, Billy.
Yeah, he gets a 10 from me for yesterday because he did everything perfectly. Set the side up to beat Manchester United, and that's what he did. And he knew that with the energy, even despite playing 2 games in the previous week, didn't matter. The crowd would pull us through. He had no choice in what he picked in his first team lineup, but that first team lineup performed with a fantastic ability and energy, which is hard to do when you've played 2 big games in the previous kind of 6 days. So yeah, it gets a 10 for me.
Stiff Gator says Isak is in the top 6 scorers in the Premier League and not playing great. Think about that for a second. That's my point. That is what I'm trying to get across, Stiff, to everybody else in the chat, that this guy isn't at his best at the minute. And I've just said it numerous times that I think he's quality and will come good. But right now, the matches, I'm rating on him on each match that I see him. I'm not, that's just personal opinion. So, everybody's got their own. I'm giving Howe a 10 as well. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Again, Eddie Howe just managed the game very well. Even made Alex smile by bringing Matt Ritchie on. Bless him. Wheeled him out for his 5 or 10 minute spell. So well done to Eddie for that. Alex?
Yeah, I think it's a 10 purely based on it's difficult to say if it is him specifically, but considering how knackered they were Tuesday night, especially in the second half, to give that kind of performance, it wasn't dissimilar to what we did against Chelsea. It was pretty much the same sort of thing. It was a good hiding. It just wasn't 3 or 4 goals. It should have been. It's got to be a 10. I don't know how he does it. Like some of the way he talks to people, like sort of, whether it's neuro-linguistic programming, where he works with a psychologist, I don't know, but the way he manages, the way he motivates, the way he's got them all singing from the same hymn sheet is just, I'm not even talking about tactics. It's purely about just psychological. He just knows how to get them the best out of his entire squad. A lot of them don't play and they're happy. Well, I would not say they're happy. They're not necessarily playing as much, but they're all thrilled to be part of the club. You can't say that about what other teams have you got in the world where you've got, 5 or 10 players not get a sniff. Our squad is so happy. It's got to get a 10 just for that, for the turnaround physically to get them so up for that game. It's miraculous.
Right, now we're going to reveal who our player of the match was before we do what the voting is in the chat. Billy, who was your player of the match?
Fabian Schär for me. Just an outstanding performance at both ends of the pitch. Outstanding.
Yep, me as well. I said that last night. I thought he was superb. Alex?
I'm going to go for a funny one, actually.
That makes a change, doesn't it?
I'm going to go for Bruno. Hang
on. I'm pulling you up on this, Alex, right? Because you gave Bruno a 9 and Joe Linton a 10, but you're giving Bruno man of the match. What logic have you got for that?
Because there's more in the tank for Bruno. I think he could have got on the score sheet. But there was so much. So why I'm giving him man of the match is because, again, the goal came from what Bruno started off. Some of the switches and passes that started off offensive wide movements were absolutely ridiculous. Some of the passes from Bruno were out of this world against Manchester United. He would ping them out to the right, and I would think, oh, that's not going to reach its man. And it would swerve back in out of nowhere and land on Trippier's little big toe. It was ridiculous. Some of the passing range was stupid. The fact he sat there in front of the opposition box, pinging it left, right, recycle possession, start another attack. He couldn't get the ball off him. He absolutely ran that midfield and he showed them how to play football. He was elite. And there was the reason I'm giving him the man of the match performance as well. Additional attacking movement, some sneaky runs into the box that didn't get spotted. Joe Linton could have played him in. He made a great run. On another day, he gets 1 or 2 goals because some of the movements were magnificent. He didn't quite have the room to pull the trigger on certain occasions. But I just think the way he played, it helped us turn the screw. Joe Linton did the dirty work with getting the ball back and wrestling off players. The wingers were in the right place at the right time. But Bruno was the one sat there with as the conductor, making it all happen. It was outrageous from him. It really was. And that's just my opinion. I thought he was great.
He was elite, guys, but Alex only scored him a 9. Make sense of that, if you will. Anyway, let's... David Smith, member for 18 months. Thank you very much, David. He says, looking back, the Bournemouth game was probably a watershed moment, the way Eddie has coached them afterwards. Alex, I've warned you about putting comments on the screen.
I'll tell you what's about Eddie Howe as well. He's managed the team there to absolutely dominate Manchester United, made them look like schoolboys, and he's playing with a much thinner deck of cards than what the opposing manager did.
Absolutely. Barry the Bee, thanks for another 199, mate. He says, Joe Linton for man of the match destroyed Man United's midfield. Yes, he did. His physicality was just superb yesterday. Right. The results of the poll are as follows.
I'm not 0%, guys.
Thank you. Man of the match for our viewers, based on 447 votes, is Anthony Gordon on 36%, followed by Fabian Schär and Joe Linton on 23, and Bruno on 18. So, Alex, you've had a castor.
Well, 18% of you are right. Well done.
You are such a twat. I mean, there's no other word. There's no other word.
A few people mentioned the ref, by the way. I would like to just say something about that. Good game, generally. However, I thought they were very scared to make a decision, which I don't know if anybody else felt like that, but I felt like that. And the linesman, the fourth official, the ref, they did let the game flow, but I didn't feel like it was because they were being good. I think they've just terrified of making any decisions at all. And they just went, no, I'm just not going to make any. I thought he'd forgotten his cards at one point. Like, I don't know how we didn't get Schär booked and several other players booked. And I don't know how they didn't get several other players booked. He just let everything go, which it's nice. It makes for a rough and tough game. But at the same time, I thought it was more, it went past the line. I thought it was just cowardice. I thought they're getting to the point where they're now scared to make decisions because they've gotten so many wrong. I think that's an issue as well.
I mean, listen, I thought he was all right. Unlike Mr. Hooper tonight in the Manchester City game,
Yeah,
who
he was all right, but
I mean,
I would have liked him to blow his whistle a couple of times more.
did you
than
guys
he did.
see that in the last few seconds of that
The
game?
advantage?
I mean, he played advantage. Haaland plays Grealish in on goal, and then he blows his whistle to pull it back.
Scandalous.
It's absolutely disgraceful. But never mind. Will, thank you for being a member for 4 months. He says, hello, guys. Hope everyone is well. Can't wait until we batter Sunderland. And thank you very much to Alessandro for his $5 super chat. I like it. Oh, Eddie, Howard, Jason Tyndall. Haha, this team is a blast. Thanks for the commentary. You're very, very welcome. But that is it for tonight, guys, for the review. Massive crowd in tonight, so thank you, each and every one of you, for your super chats, new memberships, and of course, thank you to the brilliant mod squad. Cracking performance as usual from them backstage, and of course, thank you to Billy and Alex. But the main thanks is to you guys. You keep coming back, and we love you. Absolutely love you. Thank you so much for all the support you give this channel. I really, really do mean that. We are blessed to have such a fantastic following on the Toon Review. We will be back again tomorrow night. I'm not sure what show it is yet, but keep your notifications on and you will find out. And also for any recorded videos of latest news breaking from the club. But until then, thank you for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Good night.
How are the lads and lasses?